What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trust the Bank Ravens Media, and if it's your first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see all of our daily Ravens content. Today's Ravens content, we're going to be going through the stock market on the Ravens roster, looking at the players whose stock's going up and down going into next season. And just as a quick reminder, all of these opinions are my own. They do not reflect those of all Ravens fans, and I do not expect all Ravens fans to agree with me. If you disagree with me, I heavily encourage you to comment down below. We can talk about it. We can be civilized. We're not going to be screaming at each other. If we're being rude, we should stop doing it, but be civilized in the comment section. I'll talk to you. If you change my mind, I will gladly admit it, and if I change your mind, so be it. But if we don't change each other's minds, it's okay. We're all Ravens fans. We can watch it all. We can have our own opinions, and we can just have a good time. But let's get right into it. The first player stock we're going to be looking at is Gus Edwards. So last season, Gus Edwards played very well. He stepped into Mark Ingram's role kind of early into the season, as it was kind of clear that Mark Ingram was not the same guy that he once was. Gus Edwards ended up having career highs in rushing yards, receiving yards, rushing touchdowns, and receiving touchdowns, with 723 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, 129 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns receiving the football. However, I've got Gus Edwards' stock going down. Why is that? Because of the emergence of J.K. Dobbins. Down the stretch of the season, J.K. Dobbins really showed that he is the best back on the team. He is the one that should be toting the rock as much as possible. And with the Ravens running back by committee style, what you need from all of your running backs is a different element that they can bring to the game. The issue is what Dobbins doesn't have, which is kind of the pass game, catching the football out of the backfield, is not a specialty of Gus Edwards. Dobbins ended up taking a lot of the goal line runs, and that's what Gus Edwards was able to do for the Ravens when they had Mark Ingram. So it doesn't look like Gus really has that mold that he can fit into the Ravens team anymore, which is very unfortunate because he's a phenomenal player. If he goes somewhere else, he could still dominate in the NFL, but right now behind J.K. Dobbins, he doesn't add that extra element to be able to really contribute to this team. Now the Ravens use a lot of running backs, he can still play, but I just don't see his impact being nearly as much as it has been in previous seasons, which is unfortunate because I love the Gus bus. We all love the memes, we all love the GIFs, but I just see Gus Edwards' stock going down for the Ravens in this next season and in years to come. But hopefully I'm wrong. I'd love to see him ball out, but I just don't think that he's going to be contributing nearly as much as he used to. The next player stock that we'll be looking at is Hollywood Brown. Now last year, Hollywood Brown was knocked by a lot of Ravens fans. They didn't think he was as good, mostly because of what he said after the Pittsburgh game, talking about soldiers, and everybody started calling him Soldier Brown. But keep in mind, last season, Marquise Hollywood Brown had career highs in receptions, yards, touchdowns, yards per reception, yards per game, and everybody's all of a sudden acting like he's a bust, okay? Yes, he had that Soldier Brown thing, but in the last 6 games of the seasons, he had 6 touchdowns. Then he went into the postseason and absolutely dominated. He has shown in clutch games, he has been very valuable to the Ravens. In all of his playoff games, he's averaging around 100 yards per game, and he doesn't have a touchdown, but the Ravens offense barely has any touchdowns, so we can't just fault him for that. He's shown that he can really pick it up, and with the emergence of Keith Williams and T. Martin coming into the Ravens as pass game coordinator and wide receivers coach, that's going to really help his game because of the guys that they've worked with and helped develop. I promise you will see big things from Hollywood Brown in this next season and in years to come, because he will show you that he is Hollywood Brown. He's not just an ordinary soldier. As if it wasn't obvious enough, big uprise on the Hollywood Brown stock watch. I would invest in him right now. The next player whose stock I see skyrocketing in the next season or two is James Prochet, another wide receiver. Now, Miles Boykin is not it. We pretty much saw that when Lamar Jackson threw the jump ball in the playoffs, albeit it was a bad pass, but Miles Boykin made practically no effort to come down with the football. And if you don't have the drive and ability to make those contested catches at his size and what his skill set was seemingly going to be coming into his career, you should not be out there on the field. and Dez Bryant doesn't look like he's going to be coming back. So who are the Ravens going to look to for those 50-50 balls? It's going to be James Proche. James Proche made 50-50 catches on the daily at SMU. He doesn't bolster ridiculous size or ridiculous speed, but he has incredible hands and ball skills. He can high point it with the best in the league, and when he's given the opportunity, a lot of people are going to have to learn the names James Proche, because he is going to be able to dominate in red zone opportunities as a deep threat player, and he's going to stretch that field, and he's going to bring big things to this Ravens offense. So James Proche stock is definitely going to be on the rise. And the final player that we're going to be looking at in this episode of Stock Watch, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to be looking at Willie Snead. Last year, Willie Snead had 432 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's a relatively reliable receiver for Lamar Jackson, as they have decent chemistry, and Willie Snead is able to work out of the slot. He's a veteran, he's crafty, he can take hits, but there's somebody who can absolutely take his role, so I definitely see Willie Snead's stock going down. That player is Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay dominated in college with his hands, and he played mostly out of the slot. He's very physical, and he possesses characteristics that Willie Snead can only dream of. First of all, just his hands. He's got great hands, but then of course, the incredible speed and physicality that he has. And honestly, Devin Duvernay probably has top 10 run after the catch skills right now, and that's just without him even having the opportunities to prove it. I mean, he could honestly be a top 5, top 3 after the catch player in the NFL just after next season, but that obviously means that Willie Snead is going to have to take that step back in the Ravens offense, because he is older, he is slower, yeah, he's veteran and he's crafty, but the Ravens don't need him anymore. Willie Snead, I'm sorry, I like you, you're a good player, I loved the beef that you created with the Browns, but his time as a primary receiver in Baltimore is seemingly coming to an end. Thank you everybody for watching, and especially to all of you who got this far. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more Ravens content on the daily, hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you disagreed, comment it down below. I want to talk with you. I want to comment underneath, and I'm not going to be aggressive. Once again, I'm not going to try and force my opinion on you. You can have your own opinion, but I'd like to hear those other opinions. So comment it down below. We can have a fun little discussion, and make sure once again, hit the subscribe button. More Ravens daily content on the way.